Good morning, everyone. It is 10:30, so we will go ahead and get started. I'd like to call today's Sports Authority Board of Directors meeting to order. We appreciate the Predators organization and the folks at Bridgestone Arena for hosting us today and being accommodating in this beautiful space. Thank you for having us. As always, the appeals process for any action of this board can be found at the top of today's agenda. We have our meeting minutes from our January 10th meeting in our board packet. Everyone should have had an opportunity to review. At this time, we would entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second. Motion and properly seconded. All in favor to approve the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes are approved. And at this time, we will hear from Monica Faulknerson for our Executive Director's report.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You can hear me. Well, thank you everyone for being here today. You have the agenda before you. We have not proposed any changes, so I'm not going to read through the agenda. But if there are any questions about it, then I'm happy to entertain those. Okay, in front of tab 2, you'll find a nice note from Leslie Fram, and Leslie really enjoyed her short time on the board, and so she wanted to let you all know how much she appreciated the opportunity to serve alongside you for that period of time. As you know, Leslie, like I said, resigned in January. We have heard that the mayor has nominated a local attorney, Dan Hogan, to fill that unexpired term. Dan will go before the Metro Council for confirmation on March 5th, and hopefully will be joining us at next month's board meeting, so you can keep your ears out for that. We don't have a formal MLS Stadium report this morning. You probably noticed that on the agenda, but just wanted to give you a couple of updates. Last night, the MLS team had a large and very well-attended event over at Marathon, and they unveiled their new logo and the new branding. They will be Nashville SC, and so we're excited about that. In terms of the stadium, the team is working with the architect, Populous, and also with Mortensen Messer, the construction management team. And so right now they're just going through the process to determine the optimal layout for the stadium. We expect to have a formal update and a report from them next month. The other process that's in the works is for a solicitation for infrastructure design, and we are working with Metro Purchasing. I think the state and Public Works have also been part of these larger infrastructure conversations. As you know, this project there's a fairgrounds, new expo building, that component, there's the stadium piece, and there's also the infrastructure piece. So we will continue to keep you updated on that. Our hope is that we will be able to get the RFP out over the next couple months, and we'll be able to move forward there. Are there any questions on soccer? All right, that's my short report.
Thank you, Monica.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
before we get into the business of the authority, if I could please have a point of privilege. I just felt it fitting for us as an authority to acknowledge the recent loss of someone who has contributed greatly to the Nashville sports community and the national sports community in the loss and passing of David Williams II, former AD of Vanderbilt University. David served this community greatly for over 18 years, and he will truly leave his mark on the city of Nashville and Vanderbilt University. So on behalf of the Sports Authority Board, please join me and us in sending our condolences to his wife, Gail, their 4 children, and the entire Vanderbilt University family. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Kathy. It was very well said, and thank you. At this time, we have our Finance Committee report. Our Finance Committee met just prior to our full board meeting today. The Finance Committee is chaired by John, and Chair Glassmeyer will take over this portion to give us his committee report.
Thanks very much. We had a few items on our agenda that we have approved and bringing now for full approval of the full board. The first item is the consideration of the Sports Authority fiscal year 20 operating budget. The Finance Committee did approve what has been taken to Metro Finance. Monica, did you have anything you'd like to add to that?
No, nothing to add. We have proposed a flat budget, no new changes. We will, as the Finance Department has asked us, look for any ways to make a reallocation if there's something that we need to do, but we are not proposing any additions.
So the Finance Committee does recommend approval.
We have in the form of a motion.
Yes, sorry.
We have a motion for approval, the recommendation of the Finance Committee, properly seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The budget is approved. Next item from Finance Committee was the Sports Authority Debt Management Plan.
Yes, so the Finance Committee reviewed this. The state requires, we have a debt management policy. There were some updates that Margaret was on hand to discuss. The committee did recommend approval. Did anyone have any questions for us on that, or Margaret?
Would you like me to explain it again?
Please. The highlights.
I'll pull this over because I was told the last time I was talking that my voice kept getting lower and lower the longer I talked. So, sorry, I apologize for that. Where's Emmett? Okay. So this is a debt management policy. It's required by state law that if you're going to issue debt, that you have one in place. You last updated your policy in 2011, and new requirements have come down from the state for you to have in your policy, and this incorporates those. It covers the types of debt that you can issue, which is primarily revenue debt. Well, not primarily, it's only revenue debt, and that's something that is also required by state law as well as the policy guideline, your policy guidelines. It covers the types of professionals that are engaged by the Sports Authority, your financial advisor, your underwriter, your authority counsel, which is typically me. And you can hire outside counsel for debt, but you have to have a written engagement if you want to do that. And then your bond counsel, which there's a provision that allows you to utilize Metro's bond counsel, which is something that the authority does regularly. For each one of these professionals, it talks about the fee arrangement and the conflicts of interest that are disclosed, and that is something that is the board currently follows. There is a savings clause in here so that the board will follow the Metropolitan government's policy if it has been updated or amended prior to your policy being updated. There is a new section that covers balloon debt and the requirements that that fall under balloon debt that is required by the state as well. So if there are no questions, that is all I have.
Thank you, Margaret. So the Finance Committee recommends approval of the changes to the debt management policy.
Second. Finance recommends approval in the form of a motion, and is properly seconded by our Vice Chair. So all in favor to approve the updated debt management policy, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The updated policy is approved. And moving on, next we have the Stewart Parking Management Services contract.
The Finance Committee reviewed the policy. Brasher Burbank is here from Stewart Parking. If we have any, Stewart Logistics, if we have any questions for him. Finance Committee did recommend approval of the contract.
We have a motion to approve the Stewart Parking contract. Is there a second? Second. Any further discussion?
Madam Chair,
One abstention?
an abstention from discussion and vote.
Okay.
Well,
So noted.
I'm just going to make the same comment I did at the Finance Committee. Stuart Parkin's done a very good job over the last years since 2013. The revenue increased every year. The receipts to the Sports Authority have increased every year. I think in 2013 it was about $146,000 to the Sports Authority, and in 2018 it was up to $265,000. So I think they've done a very good job, and if this contract will be renewed and approved.
Thank you for those comments. Are there any further discussion? We have a motion and a second. All in favor to approve the contract, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Note one abstention, and the contract is approved. The final item that was discussed before Finance prior to this meeting was the mid-ice contract at Bellevue Ice Center. Chair Glassmeyer.
The Finance Committee did listen to a very thorough review of the contract. Margaret gave a very thorough and didn't have any. We do recommend approval of the contract between Sports Authority and Mid-Ice LLC for the Bellevue Ice Center.
Madam Chair, as a proud Bellevue resident and proud of this project, I would move approval.
We have a motion to approve the agreement. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and seconded. Any further discussion? I did have the joy of going out to the Bellevue site on Monday. I drove by. There's a lot of activity. It's really exciting to see more ice in the community, and I know it's a little bit different arrangement from Ford Ice Center, and maybe our council can just hit the very highlights of the agreement, and then we will take a vote.
Okay, just to hit some of the highlights that I identified after going over the agreement in some more detail during the Finance Committee, but something that is important in the definition section that is substantive is the operating revenues and the operating expenses. The items that are designated as revenue and expense are standard, but they lead to the definition of the net operating income. And let me make sure I've said that right. Yes, net operating income. And so the net operating income is important because it is used as a part of the calculation for the capital management fee. This is a management agreement so that Mid-Ice will be managing this facility on behalf of the Sports Authority to be used as an ice rink for the community and other types of activities out there that are designated in the agreement. The net operating income, so if you turn to page 6, where you have the very lengthy chart about the management fee, you can look at the first operating year designation, and the calculation is very easy. All of the revenues are considered part of the management fee. Starting in operating year 4, the management fee is equal to all of the revenues less the sum of columns A and B. Column A is $250,000. That amount will be retained by the Sports Authority. And column B is 25% of surplus of net operating income over $375,000. So any net operating income that is over $375,000, we take 25% of that. That amount will also be retained by the Sports Authority, and then the capital management fee will be all revenues less those two amounts. And as you can see, going down through management fees, that amount changes year after year. And we have already, in this agreement, determined what those amounts will be for 30 operating years, assuming that the agreement goes for 30 operating years. If you go back to the term section, this agreement is effective for a 7-year term. The Sports Authority has the ability to extend that term in their sole discretion. And so it can be extended up to 30 years, and after 30 years, we would probably renegotiate an agreement with them, because this one will no longer be effective. Those are really the, there's also two other elements that are, I think, probably of interest are the capital contributions. Mid-Ice will be making a $3 million capital contribution towards this facility. A portion of that will be used towards construction, and a portion of that will be used towards some of the FF&E, the authority's equipment, like Zambonis and other types of equipment that is needed to operate a facility, ice skates, rental skates, things of that nature. There is also a capital improvement fund. This consists of a fund which the manager will deposit on an annual basis certain pre-designated amounts in the agreement. Those will be used to upkeep the interior portion of the ice rink, things that are needed to actually operate an ice rink. The authority and Metro will be responsible for the shell of the building in this instance. The capital improvement fund, another item here is that if the agreement is terminated prior to the 30 years, the fund will be retained by the manager. If the agreement goes the full 30 years, then if there's anything in that fund at the end of that 30 years, the authority will retain that amount. Are there
Yes. So how much is accumulating in the capital fund over a 30-year period?
If you look, I have not done the full calculation, but if you look at page 5, you can see that years 5 through, it starts in 5 through 9, years 5 through 9, $25,000 is deposited. 10 through 20, it increases to 50. 21 through 23, it's 100. So as the building starts to need more of these types of improvements, that's when the funds start to increase.
And then they come to us for proposals as to how to spend the capital improvement funds?
The capital improvement fund will be, it's supposed to be spent in accordance with the managed maintenance program that they're also required to have, which is a program that, identifies all of the elements of the building and when those things need to be improved, upgraded, replaced, that sort of thing.
I guess the question is, what supervision, if any, do we have over the expenditures on the capital improvement fund?
Well, there's a provision in here that allows for audit of any documents that are related to the management of this facility. So that is one way that we would be able to look at that. And of course, the board has the ability to ask questions of the manager at any time to find out what they're doing.
And Margaret, it's 12 civic use dates that will be shared between Ford Ice Center
Yes.
and the Bellevue Ice?
Yes.
So it says here, I'm just reading obviously while I'm listening to, at the end of each operating year, I'm looking at 3.2 in the last paragraph. At the end of each operating year, the manager shall provide the authority with a budget of proposed expenditures from the capital improvement fund for the ensuing year and annual counting. So we will know what they're projecting to do. And
Yes.
so
But
it is not a supervisory, I understand how you answer the question, but they are going to update us every year about what they propose to do and what they did with it.
yes, sorry, I
last year.
skipped over that line. when
That's okay, but
Answering your
that's-
question.
It just looks like more of a, for your information kind of thing. Yeah, okay.
Just, the initial term is 7 years, and then I was looking at section 2.4 for the extension. What are it says the authority shall notify the manager of its intent to extend the term 12 months prior and shall indicate the duration of the extended term. So is the length of the extension negotiable? Or does the sports authority get to decide?
It certainly is written that way. It is, the idea is to extend it for another 7-year term, not to extend it for a 14-year term.
But I guess I'm asking this question too as I look at 2.4. If we decide after 7 years, for whatever notice we give, that we do not want to continue this agreement, are we required to reimburse the manager $3 million less $100,000 for each year?
Yes.
So that would be, we would be required to reimburse them after 7 years, $2.3 million, right? And I assume they're going to make expenditures for this 3 million? I mean, it's not going to be in some account, right? They're going to actually spend the money?
The $3 million is the capital contribution that they're making on the front end. So there's $3 million, $1 million of which will be provided at the execution of the agreement, and $2 million that will be provided during the summer. And that money is being utilized to construct the facility and also pay for that long list of equipment.
So we would have to come up with money because that money would already be put. So in a sense, if we terminate this agreement before 30 years, we have to pay back money to them for this $3 million capital contribution.
Are there other questions? Also, just behind tab 6 in our board packet, there are an update of the site too, some visuals of the work they're doing. I know it's sort of hard to find, so if you want to review that, you can. But we have a motion by the gentleman from Bellevue for approval of the Bellevue Ice Center agreement.
Can I ask another question?
Yes,
just
you may.
Given that termination provision. So just remind me again how this building is being paid and who's paying for it.
The building is being constructed utilizing general obligation bonds of the Metropolitan government. It is not being built with the Sports Authority revenue bonds, which leads to the reason for the shortened period for the agreement. Because we're using GO bonds, we have to have a qualified management agreement, and it has to be for a period of less than about 7 years. 7 years is the good.
So what is the cost
number, or
then
lower.
Of the building, of the bonds for this building?
I believe that for the total building, and the ice rink will not occupy the entire building, but for the total building, I believe that there were $50 million. I could be, I don't know the exact number, but I think that that's what was in the capital spending.
Do you know what this $3 million is going towards that this $50 million didn't cover?
$2 million. I do not know exactly what is purchased with the $3 million, but I know that $2 million is going to assist with the construction of the building, and $1 million is going to pay for the items that are in Exhibit B, which is about $1 million. It's not a total of $1 million. It's about $900,000.
So Exhibit B is equipment,
Yes, the authority equipment.
which probably don't have a lifespan of 30 years, but
No.
Are there any additional questions, Margaret, or other board members? And I'm sure,
do we have any projection of what we think these revenues are going to be? Because obviously we are going to get some money out from revenues, so do we have any sense or any projections of what they're going to be?
I don't. It should be,
I guess if we look at the Ford Ice Center,
think it would
does
be
that help
similar
us
to
with this?
Ford
If
Ice.
anybody can answer that question out in the audience.
I'm the last guy who went up here, because I'll talk forever, but Sean Henry,
No, I'm just
Nashville
wondering
Predators.
the first 5 years or so, what the
Well,
projection might be for revenues.
Margaret won't like how I'm going to describe this, but when you compare it to Ford Ice Center, which is a 30-year lease, or I'm sorry, it's a 20-year lease, Ford Ice Center, we pay just over half of the construction cost through the annual lease. So we pay $8 million out of $15.1 million, I think the cost of Antioch was, roughly. Out here, I think we're paying $18 million over 30 years out of a working budget that we think is $21 million. I don't know exactly how the whole thing is spread because you have the rec center as part of it, and you have the land acquisition and parking lot acquisition. So Ford Ice Center was just over $15 million. The cost of this is about $21 million, but again, a lot of other people weigh in on this. So we have a $3 million down payment, if you will, and then I think we average about a $500,000 a year payment over those 30 years.
So given the revenues, you think there will be about $500,000, is that what you're saying, payment
On average,
On
over the,
average.
yeah, it starts a little bit lower and then grows just like
Right.
the capital requirements do. And just like Fordyce Center, we're responsible for the operation. If we were to lose money in the operation, that happens after that payment occurs. We're responsible for it. If we have a profit over X, then just like Fordyce Center, we go into a revenue split. So it's a lot like Fordyce Center. We're paying a lot more for it than Fordyce Center. But we had to structure it slightly differently because of the different use of bonds. So we're getting to the same place. We did a really bad job of negotiating on our end because we're putting $3 million up front. We're paying more for it, but it's the way it should be. We wanted a 30-year lease because you spread things out. We couldn't structure it that way. So if for whatever reason you choose not to have us run it after year 7, there's just a repayment of that $3 million.
But what you're saying is that given your experience, you're anticipating that the revenue would average $500,000 a year over a 30-year period.
Yeah, that's how we
That's
structured it.
obviously just-
Yeah, originally, the way we had it structured was $3 million up front, and then a lease payment that averaged that over this period of time, but it had to be structured slightly differently to get to the same place.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate you coming.
Any further discussion or comments on this agenda item? So we have before us a vote for consideration of a facility management and use agreement between the Sports Authority and Mid-Ice Center for the Bellevue Ice Center. We had a motion by the gentleman of Bellevue. We have it properly seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Seeing none, the ayes certainly have it, and it is approved. Moving on, I believe that would conclude your report.
That concludes the Finance Committee's report.
Thank you, Chairman. We appreciate your service. And thank you to all committee members and other board members who participated in our committee meeting earlier, and we appreciate your time and effort going through those items. Now that brings us to facility questions. This is the portion of our agenda where other Sports Authority partners have an opportunity to let us know anything that's going on or any other questions. Do we have any questions for our other facilities? Seeing none, we will move on to the Bridgestone Arena report. I believe we have a star-studded lineup today by the team, and it looks like we are starting, and thank you.
Good morning. I don't know about star-studded. I'm going to start this off here. Kyle Clayton, Bridgestone Arena. Thanks so much for coming today and being here with us. It's a very exciting time of year here at Bridgestone Arena. Obviously, we're a couple weeks away from the SEC men's tournament. Very excited about that. Stretch run of the regular season for the hockey team, gearing up for our big playoff run this year. And then obviously all the concerts we have in and outside the building, which Kels will probably hit on later. But again, just an exciting time. We're happy you guys are here today. I'll lead off with a little bit of a financial update, and then we'll carry on through the rest of the show here. So financially, year to date, looking at revenues, we're up about 25% year over year, which is fantastic. That's 15% above our budget. The biggest driver there has to do with our event count. Obviously, we push each year to do more and more events, and this year we're tracking ahead of where we were last year, which is great. So the biggest drivers in our revenues are our concert and event rent revenue, as well as our hockey rent revenue, and then some other ancillaries such as our box office revenues, and ticketing fees, and things like that, which are all driven by our event count. On the expense side, we're up about 15% year over year where we were last year, and we're actually under budget a little bit by just close to about 4%. So again, the biggest driver in the overage of expenses is related to our event-related expenses. So obviously, as we're doing more events, driving revenue, but there are also some expenses as well that go along with that, as well as our repair and maintenance and service agreements. As the building continues to age, we're continuing to invest in it as well as maintain it, so those expenses as well are going up. But again, revenues are up 25%, whereas expenses are only up 18%, so doing well. When you look at the bottom line, compared to last year, we're pretty much dead on where we were at the end of January, or December, I should say, and we're actually tracking well against budget, so everything's going well from that perspective. To give you a quick update on our SIF collections, so our ticketing fees, we're tracking well compared to last year. Right now, we're at about $1.7 million as the end of January. I think the report I sent out is through either November or December. I didn't have Bob Lackey's latest report to reconcile against, so I updated that more recently. So your packet's a little outdated due to that. We're about 7% ahead of where we were last year at this point, and last year we ended at about $2.6 million. So again, tracking a little ahead of that, so we're excited about where that is going to fall this year. The current outstanding balance on the loan is roughly $4.5 million at the moment. From a financial perspective, that's really all I'd plan on talking about. Is there any questions related to revenues or expenses or anything like that?
Do we have questions for Kyle?
If not, I get the pleasure of introducing our next presenter. He's a veteran over 1,100 games in the NHL across 16 seasons. This will be his second season as our color radio analyst. I'll bring up Mr. Hal Gill. Thank you.
Good morning.
Hi there. Thank you for having me, and thank you as a hockey guy and a parent. I'm really excited about Bellevue. So, thank you. I'm just going to give you a rundown on where the Preds are at right now. Basically, after a great run 2 years ago in the playoffs, making it to the finals, the expectations were there last year. Last year, they lived up to it and won the President's Trophy, won the whole league, and then kind of a devastating loss in the second round. Now the expectation is to win, and it's been a tough year. A lot of injuries. The team hasn't really performed as well as it can, but I think that's coming up soon. They're there. They have the guys. They have the players. They have the coaches. Our GM has done a great job. David Boyle has done a fantastic job, and this is his toughest week of the year. With the trade deadline coming up, I think there's going to be some movement. I'm not sure if the Preds will be involved, but the excitement around it is certainly building. And I played here 6 years ago, and the excitement level around the city has been off the charts. It's fantastic. So I think this is going to be a big year. I expect a long playoff run, but it's going to be tough. So I think the team is there. We'll find out in the next week what the team is, and we'll go from there. Other than that, I can take any questions you might have.
And is it tonight, the LA?
LA Kings are in town, and they've had a devastating year, so this should be a good win. They are, with a win, they will move into first in the division. Winnipeg is the team they've been chasing for most of the year, and they lost last night, so we're 1 point behind, and the Preds will move into first in the division.
Thank you, Hal, for coming. We appreciate.
All right, thank you. I think our next star is Rebecca King from Community Relations, and I'll say as she's on her way up here.
Rebecca is a star.
It was always an honor to play here and to work in the community because of her.
Thank you.
He teed it up nicely. Thank you. This will be the shortest I've ever been, so we've just got a brief little list. February 10th, we held an Amend Together tonight. We did a check presentation for $150,000. That money is going towards Amend Together's program to make Tennessee the safest place for women to live and work, and building clubs with middle school students within Middle Tennessee schools. We also brought a lot of awareness to the cause and to the statistics that are apparent in Tennessee. We've also recently granted 2 wishes. One was with Make-A-Wish Detroit. We had a young boy who wanted to meet Pekka. It was our first wish from outside of the area. And so he came in, he was a goalie, and we actually put him in at practice, and the guy shot on him, was able to lip read that he was actually pretty good. So the guys were impressed with his skills, and he had a fantastic time hanging out with Pekka and being a part of the team. Last week, we had a young girl named Jana from Edmonton, and her wish was to meet PK. They're a huge Montreal Canadiens fan, so when PK was traded here, she wanted to meet him, and they flew in for a fantastic visit in Nashville and got to enjoy more than hockey, but also our city. This Saturday is a Hockey Fights Cancer weekend. We host 2 nights raising money for Hockey Fights Cancer. The NHL as a whole, every team just hosts 1. We anticipate raising $100,000 alone on Saturday night. Saturday morning, we're hosting our 5K, and the beneficiary of that race will be the 365 Pediatric Cancer Fund presented by Twice Daily. And then on Sunday, our wives and girlfriends of the team will be renovating a room for a young cancer patient named Caroline. She's currently inpatient, so we'll actually do the big reveal on Tuesday after she gets home from the hospital on Monday. So all weekend, we're going to be raising awareness and raising money. We also have our two biggest fundraisers coming up. March 7th is our Nash Vegas Casino Night presented by King Jewelers. We'll have 1,000 people on the floor of Bridgestone Arena raising money for our grants program. And then April 5th will be our wine tasting, and we'll have probably close to 300 different wines for people to sample. We have 20 different restaurants coming in to provide food, and we anticipate raising over $150,000 that night alone. All of the money from these events will go to our grants. May 2nd, in conjunction with the Big Payback, we'll be distributing over $650,000 to local Middle Tennessee nonprofits. We're in the process of reviewing the grant, so we don't quite know who it is going to, but in March, we'll know the organizations. And then at the end of the meeting, we have a special guest and a new hire for the organization, so we'll introduce him after the closure of the meeting. Next up, David Kells.
Thank you, Rebecca.
I don't know, and David might address this, but I personally wanted to thank the Predators organization for the outstanding hosting that you did for the National Women's Hockey League All-Star Game. It was a phenomenal success, and I know that there was short notice given to your organization, and the way that the game was played, it was a very exciting game, and seeing them out there on the ice, all the All-Stars and the lineups being called and the reception on Friday night here at the arena was just exceptional. And I saw a lot of you all there at the reception that was co-hosted with the Nashville Sports Council Women's Sports Committee. And you just, as David Kells said, this is what we do, and it's very apparent. But there was a lot of support for that effort at the Fordyce Center and everywhere. So I just want to thank you very much for that.
And Rebecca, real quick, just a comment, no question, but just, sorry.
No, it's good.
But every time I walk in the building and every time that you come up and you give your report, I have to tell you that you're running one of the best nonprofit organizations in the city of Nashville. And it's apparent just by the support that you have and the leverage that you use the Predators brand, that this city loves your organization, loves the Predators, and I would encourage all of the board members, if you've never been to one of the two fundraisers that you were just talking about, the Wine Festival as well as the Nash Vegas, the Casino Night, those are phenomenal events. And your team puts on a phenomenal job, a phenomenal event, and it's great. It's a lot of fun. Everybody has a great time, but more than anything, you guys are raising an enormous amount of money for doing such a great job around this community. So thank you for what you do. I know that it's a lot of hard work that you and your team puts into it. So I wanted to mention that, and kudos to you.
Thank you. Kyle will be sending an email to the board about Nash Vegas with special offers, so we hope that you all will be attending. And it's a no-sale event. We're not asking anything. There's no program. You're just there, free flow, eat, drink, and see the guys. So it's a fun night.
It's fun. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Kells.
Hi there, I'm David Kells with Bridgestone Arena and the Nashville Predators. As Margaret mentioned, on February 9 and 10, we were proud to host the National Women's Hockey League All-Star Game. As she said, it came to us pretty quickly, but the whole organization jumped in feet first to figure out how we could make this bigger and better than anything they had experienced. And people in this room, people in the community did just that. The All-Star Game itself hosted over 6,000 people in attendance, making it the highest attended women's professional hockey league in the United States ever. The two-day event with All-Star Game out at Fordyce Center, and then the skills at Fordyce Center and the game itself here attracted over 1 million viewers online. So across the board, everybody was thrilled with it. On a personal note, my 4-year-old daughter came to one of the games, saw a ponytail hanging out the back of the helmet and said, "Dad, there's a girl playing hockey." So it's one of those things that doesn't hit you in the face, but role models matter. And when girls are able to see people like themselves playing the game, they can get inspired to play, and that meant a lot to me. Yesterday, we received some awesome news. The Academy of Country Music nominated Bridgestone Arena as the Large Capacity Venue of the Year category. Those awards, I believe, will be in town in August. So they do the big awards show on television for the performers and all those kind of things in April. Then they have an industry kind of behind-the-scenes awards in August. So hopefully we're up for that one again, and hopefully we'll bring home another cowboy hat statue. Now I'm going to kill you with a whole bunch of numbers. And this is from our calendar year 2018. We hosted 55 concerts, 6 family shows for a total of 28 performances, 15 non-Predators sporting events, 59 Nashville Predators events for a total of 157 public ticketed events. So those are the ones that you see on TV, those are the ones you have commercials for, those are the ones you can buy a ticket and come on in. Then behind the scenes kind of things that people maybe don't get as much publicity. We did 116 dates in the rehearsal hall, and this is the one that really blew my mind. We did 602 dinners, meeting rooms, trainings, and those kind of things. So that's these 2 rooms right here. That's the Patron Club being used. That's us hosting events on the concourse on non-event days. So even though you may not know of the event going on in Bridgestone Arena, there's always activity here in some nook, cranny, or corner. Because our groups do a great job of selling the space and promoting the space, but also people love being part of the Nashville Predators in Bridgestone Arena and the what we can add to their event, how they can bring us something and we can make it 10 times, 20 times better than they would be on their own. So our total attendance for 2018 was 1,746,000 people through the doors. Going forward, we have 38 non-hockey events already on sale for a total of 312 tickets on sale. This time last year, we had 31 non-hockey events on sale. We always try to have something for everybody on our calendar. I think our programming currently reflects that. Going forward, we have Travis Scott, Kelly Clarkson, Winter Jam, Pink, the SEC Men's Basketball Tournament, 2 cellos, Jimmy Buffett, Michael Bublé, Dave Matthews goes on sale tomorrow, and that's the first time that Dave Matthews Band will be doing a headlining concert at Bridgestone Arena. We also have Iron Maiden, Carrie Underwood, and more and more and more. And then in the short term, between now and the start of the playoffs on April 10, we have 32 events in 49 days. And in March alone, we only have 6 days without an event in Bridgestone Arena. So again, it's a lot of numbers, but I think they do paint an impressive picture. So I just want to get those all to you. Any questions for me? Anything not on the calendar that you want to see?
I just have a comment. In reading the materials that were submitted dated February 1st, it was noted that Bridgestone Arena ranked 6th in the country and 15th in the world for concert ticket sales in 2018. And I think that's just an incredible achievement, given the fact that we have 17.5. Is that what we have?
For hockey, yes.
What about for our concerts?
Every concert varies a little bit, but I'd average around 15,000 as a standard capacity for a
Being
concert.
in the middle market and being able to achieve those numbers is just really quite an achievement. And I also noticed that you were Venue Executive of the Year in 2017. You were nominated for a 6th time this year. And I know the awards were on February 13th. How'd it go?
It did not go our way. But, as they say, it's an honor to be nominated.
It's got being a lawyer, you just don't want to ask that question you don't know. But still, it's quite an achievement. And 6 nominations is really amazing. Y'all do a great job managing Bridgestone.
Well, thank you very much. Again, this is a fun place to work. We have a wonderful work environment, a wonderful work culture, and we get support from everybody, and from Metro to the Sports Authority and everybody around to help make us shine bright.
Well, it generates such income for the downtown area and all the hotels, the Lower Broad, all the businesses. It's really, really, really great what y'all are doing.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you, guys. Up next, Danny Butler is going to talk on Ford Ice Center and all the improvements there. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, David.
Danny Butler, Ford Ice Center. I'll be pretty brief, David. 600 events in a year is impressive. We do that in about 30 days. with 32 events a day. Just real quick, David also hit on SEC or the NWHL skills competition. We sold over 600 tickets and pretty much maximum capacity for the skills competition out in Antioch. It was a really, really great event. In combination, we had a girls hockey event prior to that with a panel discussion for 4 hours. So a really good day of just women's hockey in our building, which was exciting. And at the same time, we also hosted the SEC Hockey Championships all in the same weekend. So it was really great. Your Georgia Bulldogs were the back-to-back SEC Hockey Championship winners this year. So thank you so much for the Bellevue lease agreement today. We were really excited, and with that, we're also excited to announce we have a naming right partner on the building. You might not be too surprised if you've seen some pictures. Ford is going to be our partner on this facility as well, which is good for Kyle, so he doesn't have to buy a new backdrop next year. No, it's really great. Ford's been a partner of our organization since before I've even been with this organization. So they've always been a great partner. 5 years ago when Ford Ice Center in Antioch was built, they jumped on board not really knowing what they were getting into. 4 years later, they love what is going on. They love the community involvement, and that's very important for them and their brand is all the community involvement they can do. So not only did they put their name on the facility in Bellevue, they've also extended their agreement in Antioch too. So we really want to keep that going. So it is very exciting. There will be a formal announcement coming out probably the first week of March, in conjunction with our military week. But we're very excited to have Ford on board for Bellevue and the continuation of that partnership in Antioch. So any questions on Bellevue so let me touch on Bellevue real quick. If you haven't been out there, you should go out there. They are flying. With all the rain, it's impressive how far they've gotten. They already have the second floor started in some parts of the building. The steel's going up around, so it really looks like a great construction site, and we should be having ice in early September, which will be really great. Late August, hopefully July. We'll start making it in July. So it's really exciting. If you have any questions about Bellevue or Antioch, I'm happy to.
Yeah, I remember July being the...
July, that's what the mayor said, I think. So we'll go with July, right? That's right.
Yes, we will.
Any questions? Thank you so much. John, I appreciate your support.
You got it.
Thanks, Danny.
Oh, sorry.
We know who's
I get to
coming.
introduce Sean right now.
I didn't know it was coming. I didn't do that.
I shockingly have nothing at all for you, except to say thank you. You heard a lot of great numbers. We talk about them, and it sounds glib because we say it every month, but none of this happens without your partnership and support and drive. So I just want to say thank you. When you look at what we're trying to do with the foundation, that does sit at everything we do. The goal is to win the Stanley Cup every year. The goal is to be the #1 venue in the world, not just 6th or 14th, whatever we are. But none of that happens without your support. And when we are successful, it just means we do more in the community. I love the fact that, Jad, you called out Rebecca and what she does, her department. We talk about it all the time. The brighter we are, the better we are, the more attention and more leverage we can drive that passion of our fans towards the foundation, and we create a really nice outcome. So it's just been a real pleasure for us, and I just want to say thank you. Thanks for the approval at Ford Ice Center, Bellevue, and now we just need to start working on one a little north in the county and another one south to finish it off, because we really have become the envy of teams around our league and what we're doing and with that partnership. And now when we get calls from hockey moms and dads and ice skaters from all over, we say the same thing. You need to work with your council or commission or mayor if you want one in your own backyard. We never had to say that here. It was the vision of Carl Dean, and then that was carried forward by Mayor Briley and Jacoby out in Antioch, and of course Sherry Weiner in Bellevue, who errantly sent out the Ford ice renderings early. Actually, I think Dave Rosenberg did. She also announced that we weren't opening until November. So let me correct that now. We will be open in time for our rookie camp in September of 2020, or 2019 rather. So it's just an exciting time to be here. I love what Hal said. I love when a guy guarantees wins, especially that big, because how can we be wrong once he guarantees a win for tonight? And ideally, we have a really long spring of hockey. So if you have any questions at all about what we're doing, why we're doing it, we're here to answer them. But again, just want to say thank you for what you've done for us. And Kyle's open for tours if you need one-on-one tours or time with him at all right after this. All right, guys, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Sean.
there. You can see Prep fans going nuts. Kind of spark the team here in the third period.
Predators win! Catfish Mojo. What a way to win a trophy!
The winningest general manager in the history of the National Hockey League, the class of 2018, Mr. David Boyle.
Jumps in, he scores! What a pass! Ryan Johansson right to the captain. Oh, and what a hit. Did you see that? Open man is Ellis. He'll reverse it, give it go. Ellis shot, he scores! What the ball took it all the way and he scored!
That was...
And the star of the day. Batter smash. Our new dog, Smash. First dog in the NHL, now we have the most recent.
We get fun of raising banners, so we decided to add that to his name and raise another banner in Smashville. So he is in the office every day, and he comes to games, and he'll be a feature in the organization. He was on the NHL Network yesterday with Nash, so he's already had some international acclaim.
He is. Thank you, Rebecca, for not making us cry today. But you had a new, you're close. Thank you guys for that presentation. It was very inspiring and exciting as always. So thank you for hosting us again today. Our next meeting will be March 21st at Nissan Stadium. And I believe we will have a Finance Committee meeting prior to that. That has not yet been scheduled, but we will certainly let folks know. And then I meant to ask Doug, is it Friday that we actually have a soccer?
Tomorrow.
Which is tomorrow at the ballpark.
Nashville versus the New York City MLS.
So yes, we also have a soccer match tomorrow. And so there's always a lot going on. It's amazing to realize that that's already upon us. So just wanted to note that, as always, please leave your binders here for staff to recycle. Is there any other business? Seeing none, would move to adjourn, perhaps? All right, we are adjourned. Thank you. Oh, gosh.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.